Hey, it's Growing Green Girl, and today we're making my famous dilly beans or pickled beans. So you can see there's garlic spices. These are delicious. I'm making them even though it's not bean season because my family has harassed me to make more for them. So I just got these beans at Costco. You don't have to grow everything yourself to be a homesteader. Just learning how to actually process food is a great first step. So I definitely recommend this. It's a really easy recipe, and you can use this brine on also pickles and pretty much anything you want to pickle. You can use the same brine and technique with. You just have to change the processing times. So let's get started. And as always, I am sterilizing my jars. So put your jars in with your water and then turn the heat up so you don't break your jars, and boil it for at least 10 minutes. When I take my jars out of the pot and I empty them, I pour some of that boiling water onto my lids. That's enough for them. That's all they need until you're ready to put them in the canner. First step is to make the brine, which is going to be equal parts vinegar and water. So I'm doing 4 cups of each, and then 4 tablespoons of pickling salt. If you can't find pickling salt specifically, you just find a salt that contains no additives. And if it doesn't say on the front, you can just check the ingredients list, make sure that the only ingredient is salt. I'm going to be using dried Thai chilies that I dehydrated myself. You can also use cayennes, really whatever chili you want, but I really like these ones. And then I'm also going to grab dill I dehydrated in the garden. If it's in season, fresh dill is better, but dried dill will do. You can also use dill seed, which I have, but I think I'm going to save that for planting it instead. I'm getting garlic ready for the dilly beans. If they're big, I'm cutting them in half. You can leave them whole. I just wanted to show you, homegrown garlic can get a bit wonky sometimes. What is with this guy? And when you're taking your sterilized jars out, you can just dump the water right back in. Be careful, because I do usually spill and get myself right at this point. And I'm adding dried Thai chilies. As much as your heart desires. You can skip this step too if you don't like spicy beans. Now I'm adding some dried dill. You can add dried, fresh, or dill seeds, whatever you want, whatever you have on hand. Now take your wash clean green beans and pack in as many as you can into your jars. If they're too tall, just give them a trim. Now you're going to take a plastic or wooden knife to get all of the air bubbles out. Just move it around, stir around. You can see air bubbles popping up there. Now you're going to put your lids on. You can wipe off the rim first. Make sure you use a new lid every time, but you can reuse the rims and just finger tight. Now you're going to put your jars in. Make sure you have 2 inches of space above each jar. Once your timer goes off for the 10 minutes, turn it off and leave it for 5 minutes before you take the jars out. Now you leave all your jars with the rings on overnight, and tomorrow we'll check and make sure they sealed right. You should hear pop pop for quite a while, maybe even at different times, so don't be scared if in the night you hear one pop in. It's the next day, so you just want to tap the top of all your lids. If you feel a pop or it's not sealed, then you can just put it in your fridge and eat it right away, or you can redo it in the canner. So put it back in for another 10 minutes, do the same thing. But now it's time to take your rings off. I'm going to wipe down the outside because there is a bit of juices escaped and got a bit of salt on there. But as you can see, it's nice and sealed.